Hello, class 11. How are you all? So today we are having a discussion on the projectile motion. So projectile motion is the second part of the chapter number 4. The first part we did with the vectors and the properties of the vector, the cross product, the dot product and all that. And in this part, which is the second part, we will now do the application of the vector in the motion of a body in a plane. So projectile is basically a two-dimensional motion. Okay, it is a two-dimensional motion of the body in which you can say a proper definition of a projectile is that when a body do a motion only under the influence of gravitational force. Okay, listen once again. When a body do a motion or perform a motion only under the action of a gravitational force and do not any other external force, then such a body is known as the projectile motion. Such a motion is known as projectile motion. For example, if I say I throw a ball from this point, okay, I throw a ball at this point, making some angle with the ground. Okay, making some angle with the ground. Now you can just imagine when you throw a ball with making some angle or some projection, what happens? The ball move like this. The ball has motion like this. Now if I say what is the coordinate system required to define the motion of the body? So you will say at any point what we require? We require the x-axis component also and we require the coordinate one y-axis also. Okay. So in this way it is, you can see that it is a two-dimensional motion. Now if you have thrown a ball once, if it has already left from your hands, what is happening? Only the gravitational force is acting in the downward direction. Okay, throughout the motion only gravitational force is acting on this ball and do not and any other force is not acting on this ball throughout this motion. Okay, so this is the proper definition of a projectile motion. Now we will see the terms that are related with the height of the ball. You can say what is the horizontal distance. You can also talk about some time, that what can be the time in which it can go up and it can go down. Alright. Now, so let us first make a very systematic diagram of our projectile. So I will say this is the x-axis that we are taking. This is the x-axis, and you know how to denote it in the form of unit vector, that is I cap. And this is our j cap, which is the y-axis, which is representing the y-axis. Now let's imagine that a ball was there, which was projected. The word we use is projected, or you can also use that it is thrown with some velocity. So let's say it is thrown with a velocity u, that is the initial velocity, and let's say it is making an angle which is theta from the ground, which is the theta from the ground. Alright. So what will happen? We know the motion at one time, that for a given time it will attain some height. It will attain some height, and at that particular height, that will be the maximum height attained by your ball, and then it starts falling with the again increase in the velocity. So you can see at this point the velocity of the ball in the y-axis, the velocity with which it is going up, it's 0, and then the ball starts falling down. Alright. Now, to study properly the projectile, we will have some assumption. Okay, we will have some assumption. So the first assumption is, we know that the two things are occurring here. You know there is a two component of velocity. One is u, cos theta will be there because again the theta is attached here, and there will be one sin theta component because theta is not attached here. Okay, so two things are going on. That's why the first assumption is we will deal with the projectile separately, one for x-axis and one for the y-axis. Okay, so we will deal separately for the both axes. Now the second assumption is that is very important. Now you can say that when a ball or any body moves in our the normal condition, what happens? There is a air drag at x. Okay, what is air drag? If I say simply that take a thermocol sheet and start moving in the any direction. Okay, let's say you are moving on the road. So what you will feel that if you are moving faster and faster, you will feel that there is some force that is opposing your motion. Okay, so what is that? That is an opposing force caused by the air, and that is known as a drag force or air friction force. Alright, so what we are assuming that in this projectile motion that we are studying, we will not consider the air friction, or you can say the air force or drag force. Simply we will not assume. Okay, now the third thing is that when you will study the gravitational chapter, okay, later on we will talk about the gravitational chapter, and you will see that what happens when a body is at certain height. So gravitation, that is the value of g, small g, will also be changing there. Similarly, when the body goes down, again the gravitational also changes. Okay, so but in this projectile we will ignore the change in the value of the small g. Alright, so we will assume that g is constant. G is constant for all the height that we are assuming in this projectile. So these are the three general assumptions that we have to consider to study the projectile motion. Alright, so I was talking about that we will deal separately with both of them. Okay, so let us see what are the components on y-axis and what are the components on the x-axis. So the first you can see there is a component of u cos theta. Okay, u cos theta on the x-axis. That is everyone. I hope this is clear. And there is a component that is u sin theta, which is the component on the y. Let us also write this is initial ux and this is initial uy. Alright, now you can say that for every point of the ball or every duration of the ball, the gravitation, the acceleration is acting, which is the gravitational, and that is acting only downward. Okay, so what you can say that if there is no such acceleration that is acting in the x direction, so what we can say that our ux will not change throughout the motion of the body. Okay, that means if there is no acceleration in the x direction, so there is no term that can affect the ux, and ux will be same throughout the motion of this projectile. Okay, so what we can say that ux is u cos theta, and that will be same throughout the motion of projectile. But if I talk about the y component, then this is u sin theta, and you know the ball is going up and the gravitation is acting downward. So in that case, both are opposite to each other, and you know when both are opposite to each other, what happens? They cause either a retardation, okay, or you can say the deceleration. So that's why as the ball is moving up and up, what happens? Because of the gravity, the velocity of the ball will start decrease, and at a certain point, which is known as the maximum height. This is the maximum height. At this point, its velocity in the y-axis will be 0. So what I can write? H is equal to maximum height, that is a capital H. What happens? Our uy becomes 0. You can write vy, that is the final velocity of y becomes 0. And what is the initial? That is the u sin theta. Alright, now we will use the kinematic equation to find out the time. Okay, so what I can write here, the kinematic equation that we will use here, that is v is equal to u plus at. That is the general equation. Okay, now you know what happens to the velocity when it is at the top, and here we are using for the y axis. Alright, first let's calculate what is with us with the y axis. Okay, so what is that? That is Vy, this is Uy, and this is G. And G is acting downward. So that's why we will put a negative sign over here. So this is value 0. The Uy is what? That is U sin theta. Alright. And the direction of G is acting downward, that's why it will become minus G into T. So what is that? T is equal to u sine theta upon g. Okay. Now everyone see carefully that this u sine theta upon g is a time at which our ball attains a maximum height and its velocity becomes zero. So what you can say, it is the time to go at the maximum height, and this time is known as the time of ascent. The time of ascent. Alright. Now, when the ball will go up, it will start falling again for the another duration of time, and you know the time that is taken for the up is equal to the time that is coming down. Alright, so that time is known as the time of descent. This time is known as the time of descent, that is when the ball is going down, okay, and it is represented by the dE, and this value will also be same, that is u sine theta upon g. Alright, that is the time of descent. So when I will say what is the total time taken by the ball, so what you will say, this time is TE and this time is TD, and if we add up this, then we will get the complete duration of time for the ball from this point to finally coming to the ground. Alright, so now we can write it as the capital T, and this capital T is known as the time of flight. Alright, and this is the value equal to TA plus TD. So what we will write here, that will be 2u sine theta upon g. Alright, so this is the complete duration of time that the projectile takes from this point to this point, and if it is only half time is asked, you will just use the u sine theta by g or u sine theta by g, that is same in the both. Okay, so let us write this conclusion, that we got the time u sine theta upon g. Okay, now let us calculate the horizontal distance. Okay, so now we use the y-axis component. Now let's see the x-axis, what is happening. So you can see that the body is moving horizontally with the velocity of u cos theta, and what is the time taken, that you now know. What is the time taken to come from this point to this point is 2u sine theta by g. So if I say what is the horizontal distance, which is known as the range, the horizontal distance covered is known as the range in projectile, and this is what, which is the velocity in x-axis into the total time taken. So this is ux, that means u cos theta, and what is the time, that will be 2u sine theta upon g, which is the total time. So what it can be, this is 2u, okay, place here u here, and then 2 sine theta cos theta upon g. Alright, now this form, that is 2 sine theta and cos theta, this is a formula of a half angle. Okay, that means if I write the sine 2 theta, it can be written as 2 sine theta into cos theta. Alright, so therefore here I can replace the term with the sine 2 theta. Okay, so what we can write here, that will be u sine 2 theta upon g, which is the value of our range. Okay, so this is the value of our range that we have calculated. Alright, so again I am noting here that p is 2 and the range is what, that we have calculated u sine 2 theta upon g. So we have derived a two formula with respect to projectile. Now comes a term that is known as the h, that is the maximum height. Alright, so let us also calculate it. Now we are going to talk about the maximum height, which is on the y-axis. So whenever you will do any calculation or any derivation, okay, so you will assume that first where the thing is happening, either in the x-axis or the y-axis, that will make you easier to use the kinematic equation. So again we will use, we can use v square dy square is equal to ux square, okay, and then plus 2a maximum h, that is the height. Alright, now let's put the term one by one. So v by, you know, at maximum height the velocity is 0, so that will be 0. What is the sorry, this is uy, yeah. So what is the initial velocity with which it was projected on y? That is u sin theta, and this is whole square. Okay, then 2, and you know the g is acting in the downward, that's why minus g minus 2g h. So what is our h? You can write u square sin square theta upon 2g. So this is again the formula for our maximum height. So this is the maximum height. Okay, if I write again the range, what we derive for the range, that is u sin 2 theta upon g, and what was the time? Time was 2 u sin theta upon g. So these are the important formulas that we will require to calculate anything that is regarding the project time. Okay, now next we will talk about a term that is known as the equation of trajectory. Okay, now what is trajectory? So whenever body performs a motion, okay, it takes some kind of motion. Okay, it takes some kind of you can say that kind of curve, a kind of line of motion. Okay, so that is known as the trajectory of a body. For example, if I say body is moving in a x-axis, only in the x-axis. So what is the equation of trajectory? You will say that it is moving in a straight line along the x-axis. Okay. Now similarly, if I say what is the trajectory of a body of a circular motion, then you can define it by using the x square plus y square is equal to r square. That is the equation of a circular motion. That is the equation of a circle. Okay. Now similarly, here also we have drawn some diagram. Okay, but it is not defined that whether it is circular or it is a kind of something else. So we will see that how we can actually get to the equation of trajectory. Okay, that what kind of motion the body is doing, is that correct or not, that we will check. All right. Now you will use the equation that is displacement. If I say at any particular time I want to see the displacement in the y-axis. Okay, so which equation we can use? That is y is equal to uy into time t. That is any specific time I want to see the displacement. Then minus g half g e square. So this is the basic equation that I can use. Okay. Now if I say on the x-axis, okay, on the x-axis what I can use? So you will say x is equal to u cos theta into time t. So now you can use the time t is equal to x upon u cos theta. So let's put the values one by one and see what we are getting. So let the y be y. Okay, now you know the what is the value of uy, which is okay. So we will put the value of, that is we have already put, and now we will put the value of t in the terms of x and cos theta. Okay, so let's put t is equal to, that is x upon u cos theta. All right, so let's see what we are getting. We will get y is equal to u sin theta, then this is x upon u cos theta. Here we will get 1 upon 2 g, and what is that? X square upon u square cos square theta. All right, so what will cancel out? U and u will cancel out, so we can get y is equal to x tan theta, and then minus half g x square upon u square cos square theta. All right, so this is the equation that we are getting for the y. Now you know that this is what, that is y, this is x, and this is also x square. Okay, that is the y and x relation we are getting, but there are some certain terms that are making a tougher complexion to understand the equation. So what we will do, let's replace this term with some constant. So I will take tan theta, let's take tan theta as a, and let's take the other terms except the x square as the b. So what we will get, y is equal to ax minus b x square. Okay, Now this is what you are getting, that is a quadratic equation in the terms of x square, okay, and this is the relation of y with the x, okay. Now this x square meaning what? That will study in the class 11 mathematics, and this is the equation that is representing a parabola, okay. This is the equation that is representing a parabola. That's why now it is proved that this curve is not a part of circle. It is not a part of circle, but it is what? This curve is known as the parabola. So parabola is what? The trajectory of this projectile motion. Okay. Similarly, you can say one more thing here. Let me explain once again. Let's say if you are doing any other motion of body, if you are doing it for any other motion of body, you are getting a relation of y is equal to x. Okay. So this is what a projectile. If I want to denote it, then simply draw y, and this is x. So this line will be drawn like. So you can see that whatever be the motion of your body is, whatever x it is coming in x axis, similarly it is coming in the y axis. So this is a straight line that you are getting for the projectile for the trajectory. But here what we are getting, a kind of equation that is of quadratic nature, and that is denoted for the parabola. Okay. So this is the importance of the equation of the trajectory. Okay. Not only this, if you are having a value of t, okay, that is the time, or you can say if you are value of theta, then you can calculate easily that what is the position of a body at a particular time. That you can also calculate by using these two equations. Okay. So I hope you enjoyed this lecture and learned the basic concept about the projectile motion. Okay. So in the next class we will do some important numericals that is related with the projectile motion. Okay. So thank you all.